In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make an orthographic drawing of the fixture block. That's an assignment drawing that you were given previously, and this will be a continuation or a series of tutorial videos that will show you how to do an orthographic of the object, an oblique, and also a isometric of the object as well. So getting started, I started off with my metric border as usual. I'm going to go File, Save As. And I will save it as fixture block and my name. Then I'm going to save. And I've already started off with, I've got the border and I've got the front view partially drawn. So that's where we begin usually, is creating one of the views, the front view, and what we do is we consider the front view to be the side that would best describe the shape and size of the object. And this would be the best one for this object. So now I need to start drawing the top view. We're going to place the views 40 millimeters times the scale factor away from the other views. So to do that, this is a 1:1 scale drawing, so I'm just going to offset by 40. So I went with the offset command. I typed in O for offset, and then it asked me to select the object, the distance, and I typed in 40, and now it's asked me for the object and the side to offset. While I'm in here, I'm also going to want to do a right-hand view, so I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. That just tells me where to start this top view. Now I'm going to draw some projection lines from the front view. So I'm going to draw straight up. And again, I hit Enter, brings up the same command. So while I'm doing this, I can just go ahead and put those in. Then I'm going to stretch this one over to here. And now I've got the edge of the top view. Looking at my diagram, it says that the object is 54 millimeters wide. So I'm going to O for offset, 54. And then offset there. And now I've got the top view trimmed in. I can just use the grips to trim that, or I could use the trim command, whatever I would like. Oops. Sorry, I'm still in the trim command there, so I'm just going to trim this up. Zoom in enough that you can make sure that you're getting what you want. And now I've got that drawn. Now I've got to draw the square on the top here. So what I'm going to do is, I know that it's 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters. So I'm going to offset 25. And then I can frame in the object that way as well. Okay. And now I'm going to trim, enter, enter, turns these into cutting edges. The next thing I need to do is put in the hole. It's a rectangular hole that's in this area. So my diagram tells me that it's 14 in from this edge, so I'm going to offset by 14. Again, there's many ways to do this. I love using the offset command. It tells me that the hole is also 14 up from this edge, so I'll frame that in. Then I can escape, hit enter to bring up the command again. It tells me that the hole is 34 long, so I'm going to offset by 34. And then escape and hit enter to bring up the command again, and it's 25 wide. And now I've got it framed in. So I can grab this one, grab the grips, bring it back. And then I could do trim, enter, enter. And go around and trim all these ones out. And now I've got the top view complete. It should just check your dimensioning. So while I'm at it, I'm going to get started on dimensioning. To do that, what I need to do is I need to put the dimensions 10 millimeters away from the object. 10 millimeters times the scale factor away from the object, and it's a 1:1 scale drawing, so it'll just be 10 millimeters away. In an orthographic drawing, we place the dimensions between the views wherever possible, and we don't repeat dimensions. So I'm going to O for offset, type in 10. And I'm going to give myself some lines to work with. I don't know how many dimensions I'm going to need, so I'll just put some out here that I can work with so that I know where to put my dimensions. That should be enough there. Then I'm going to switch to the dimensioning command, and I'm going to go to dimension linear. I could also have gone up to here, selected dimension linear there, and I'm going to dimension this part. I could dimension it from here to here, but this is where it shows best, so I'm going to click on this point, and I'll place my dimension there. Then I need a dimension going from this point to this point, so I'll hit enter to bring up the command again, dimension, and put my dimension out here. Then I could do dimension continue this time. Doesn't show up in there, so I'm going to go up to dimension continue, and it takes the last point of the previous dimension, and now I can make use of that to do that, to put in that dimension. And I need an overall dimension, and we always put in overall dimensions even if it's not been provided on the object. So I'm going to go from here to here, and I can place it out here, and now I've got my dimensions, and I'm just double checking to make sure that they're correct before I get going too far and end up having some sort of an issue. The next thing I want to do is check my dimensions on this side, so I'm going to go to dimension linear, and endpoint to endpoint, place my dimension out, and then I think that's all I need for right now. So now I'm going to put in the hidden lines that represent this opening. Something's not quite right there, I'm seeing, so I'm just going to trim that one back. So I didn't zoom in enough before to make sure that I was getting my objects correct. So now I need some hidden lines to represent this hole, which can't be seen from this view. So I'm going to change now to my hidden line layer. I'm going to use the line command, and I'm just going to project down from this view, because that's exactly where it is. I don't have to go thinking about it. I've already got it located in the top view, so I can just bring it down here, and I use the perpendicular O-snap. Again, if your O-snaps are not staying set up each time, then what you may need to do is to go down to the O-snap button, right-click on it, go to Settings, and then these are the ones I like to have selected: endpoint, midpoint, center, quadrant, intersection, perpendicular, and nearest. Those are the only ones I keep set up. If yours doesn't stay set up from day to day on these computers, then you'll just need to go ahead and set that up each day. You should just do that at the beginning when you get started. Then I need to shorten up these lines, so I can use the grips and pull it down. And the next thing I need to do is the right-hand view. So I'm going to offset this line over by 40. So here's 10, 20, 30, 40. I've already actually got it drawn in there. Then I need to project some lines across. Should have put that onto the zero layer. So I'm going to switch back to the zero layer. I'm going to click on line and project that across. I'm going to go from the top here and project that across. And then I know I can project or take this one up to the perpendicular. And then I know that it's 54 wide, or I could do a miter line, but I'm going to know that it's 54 wide, so I'm going to go offset 54. Again, I got that from the drawing.
Ms. Conmaker, if you're in the building, please call extension 233. Ms. Conmaker, please call extension 233.
Then I need to draw a line over. I know that this point can be projected straight across. And then I can trim that one up. And I want to trim these, well, I won't trim just yet. I know that this top piece is 25 wide, so I can offset by 25. Offset 25. Frame it in. And then trim. Trim out this piece, this piece. I don't want this piece in here, and I don't want that. And then I can get rid of things that I don't need anymore. And now that's looking pretty good. Then I need to also put in the hidden lines from this side. So I know that that is 14, it's 14N. So I can go offset 14. And then I know that it is 25 wide, so offset 25. And then I can select those ones. And if I right click and go to properties, although on mine it won't do it, I can go up to modify properties. And I can just change the layer now to the hidden line layer. Or you could have just clicked on each of those and gone up and selected the hidden line layer out of here, and it would have switched the layer type. So now I've got the hidden lines in there. Now I need to finish doing my dimensioning. So again, I'm going to switch to my dimension layer. I'm going to select linear dimensioning. I need a dimension to go from here to here, and I can bring that out to this point. I think that's all that I need that way. And so now I've got the overall height. I've got this height. I also need to put in the overall width, so I'm going to start to dimension over here. So I'm going to hit enter to bring up that command. The linear command again, I need to put in that dimension. I can go up to dimension continue, place that one in, and escape, and go to linear again. And I need to put in an overall dimension. And I think that's all I need for dimensioning. So now I can go around and erase the lines underneath. I'm using a window to do that, so that way I know that it's only going to select things that are fully within the window. And I need to shorten up this line. And I need to trim this one as well. Now we've got a complete orthographic drawing. Notice that I did not put the overall width here because that would be a repeat of this one. So I could place it either across here or here. I do think I need also a dimension. Yes, I need a dimension going across this way because I don't have that dimension there. So I'm going to go to linear, and I'm going to place this dimension, and I'm going to place it at the same height. So I used this one to get my height. When you place a dimension, you could tell it to go 10 out. However, it will work sometimes and not other times, and I can't tell you why it doesn't work sometimes. So I suggest you always use the offset method, because otherwise some of your dimensions are not going to be located correctly. So the next thing I need to do is to center this. So I'm going to use the same methods as I've used in the past. I'm going to center the smallest rectangle that will fit around the object, which would be this. Now the entire views is my object, so I'm going to draw a line. I've got 2 corner points already, so I don't need to draw any others. I can do M for move the whole thing from the midpoint. I'm going to make sure I get a midpoint of that line, so that gives me the midpoint of that line, and then this one will be easy to find. And now it's perfectly centered. We don't take the dimensions into account when we center it, so I've got it properly centered. And I would go and change my title, the date, and the scale will still be the same. This one I'll go modify object text edit. You can just double click on it. And I'll call this one Fixture. I need my caps lock button on. Fixture block Ortho. We can't just call them all fixture block, because we're going to have several drawings of it. So we need to have them all have a different title. So I'll call this one Fixture block Ortho, because that's what it is. And then we can put in today's date, which is 02/10/15. Enter, and the scale is going to be correct, and it's going to be drawing number 1. And that's the end of this tutorial. Carry on with the next tutorial, in which I'll show you how to create an isometric of this drawing.